Yeah, this is an old season. This is part 5 of the Red Rose Challenge. Yeah, this is the day after we did the first part. So of course, when I did the first part of the Red Rose Challenge, I was uploading the previous stuff that I had recorded because it was an issue with the whole DNS server with uploading, so it got like a 1.1 megabyte like download or upload speed or whatever, right? Instead of the 300 megabits upload speed or whatever, right? So it was like 1.1 like upload speed stuff that, and they might think that that wasn't on Sony's side, it was on your side now. But I went over to the computer immediately after I noticed that I let like upload for several hours because I thought maybe it will fix itself, and I even stopped and started the clip a few times and, and stuff that as well, because there are ways to like automatically stop the clip and stuff that. Because I had several clips to upload. And then like I went over to the PC, and on the PC the upload speed was just completely fine. The upload speed was just regular because I just did a test there and stuff like that. But when I did the test on the PlayStation, it had like really bad speed. So we're gonna continue on where we left off in the caverns. And we recently got the crystal cloak. We have a moonstone, and we have metal. And we have the crystal cloak and the platinum mail, the sun mask. And yeah, we could be using holy mail, of course, and we have the red rust, of course, obviously, which we are using, which is even worse than, of course, the Takemitsu here, which is actually considerably better and stuff that Takemitsu and stuff that, because the Takemitsu actually matches the Takemitsu matches the Bastard, which is actually worse than the short sword because it's a basic short sword, it's not a common short sword and stuff that. But yeah, so there are some really, really interesting things, of course, obviously, but yeah. We're not going to go down there yet, though, by the way. We need to go over here first. We're going to be going up here, of course, because there are some things I want to grab. I want to try also, and probably before we go second castle eventually, I want to make sure that we explore as much of the castle as possible to make the walk armor quote stronger. So yeah. Now, some people might say that the walk armor is just the best armor in the game, and stuff like that. And yes, the walk armor is really, really good, but again, it depends on how much you explore and stuff. That's right. And you might say, but normally you will be exploring a lot, which is true, and stuff that. But you might not know at all how to get certain of the map squares and stuff. That there are a lot of map squares that can be very, very annoying and stuff that to get. But also that's because some people might just think that it's a bug with certain squares not showing up on the map. Because there are certain squares that just almost no matter what you do won't show up. Until you basically go to another square basically, and which is very, very odd, but yeah. I want to keep the lightning though, even though the axe there would have been a good pickup, because the axe is pretty good against Grand Balloon, of course, or Grand Balloon, or whatever you want to call him, Someone back there. And sometimes, the red rust, sometimes it does the rusting quite often and stuff that, yeah, you can get lucky with it, which I have proved, can happen, right? That you can get a lot of swings without getting a single yam and stuff that, yeah. And I don't know technically if having higher luck could decrease its chance, or if that can actually affect it and stuff that, but yeah. And of course we have the hot max up, and I believe the bandana then is in the next room, right? Yeah. Bandana. So you cannot go further here. I believe, isn't this where one of the areas are now? Because that's basically where the clock room is. Off to the side here. Very close to where the center there is. And stuff, that's yeah. But yeah, so we get the banana here. Now, the banana sadly, of course, is the same defense as the stone mask. And unless you miss the stone mask, there is absolutely no reason to give the banana. I would have given the banana more defense than the stone mask. If I would have been the thing, because there are definitely things that I think could have been rebalanced to be different and stuff like that, right? And it is a bit sad, of course, that yes, this is based on the Saturn version. Oops. Lost our lightning, oh well. Yeah, because it went out of bounds. So let's just go down now. And we of course get you get the 100 here, and then you get the 400 here, so you get 500 technically from that. Let's save again. But yeah, the walk armor is of course what you want to be using if you want to like grind up Muramasa, for example, and stuff like that. So yeah. You know, I thought about doing like a turfing run at some point, but the main problem is of course that you need to have pretty high strength before you use the turfing and stuff like that. Now you could of course be careful in the Dracula fight and make sure that you quote unquote gain better stats, because the whole thing of running out of heart, it's not necessary, if I remember correctly, to get good stats. The thing that matters in terms of getting good stats is not getting hit at all. And of course you get worse stats if you quote unquote get hit, but then of course if you die completely, I mean die basically, if Richter, if Maria runs in and she goes, oh Richter, where is your strength, you know, and stuff that, you know, that will do things. Is this where the heart? No, that's not where the life max up is. I wanted to do a bath there, you know. Yeah, and I can't hit low enough to actually hit the frogs. That's good to know. Is this where it is? I think this might. Yeah, I think that's where one of them is. Yeah, that's definitely where one of the health max ups are. And yeah, this is the aforementioned bridge that we need to destroy. And yeah, you can hit it sometimes when it's higher up. That's always no problem. Yeah, so you can still kill the frogs, but yeah, and you can abuse the thing. No, I'm killing the pepes, no. My friends! You can actually use backdash lol. Because the backdash does not get affected the same way there. Right, and I always, back in the day, like it took me a really long time to actually find this, because, you know, like, and it wasn't that I didn't understand this message, like, oh, something up here near the wooden bridge. Like, I thought that, oh, you press this button, and then you're on a wooden bridge, and then this guy appeared. And I was like, okay, like, what's the point of the message? Because it said, like, oh, something up here near the wooden bridge. And I never calculated that, because I went back here. I do remember several times going through here and seeing the gorilla, and never being like, oh, the gorilla is what the gorilla in here is what broke this bridge. I always thought that it was the button and the gorilla used coming down that was broken. I never paid attention enough, you know, and stuff that, you know, to what it actually was that broke the thing, you know. Yeah. Is the secret boots behind the waterfall, or is it on the left side? No. Oh, it is on the actual this side here. Right. There are the secret boots. Secret wall. Is that everything? Oh, that was a very quick way actually to do the waterfall. Usually I don't do it that quick. I was really lucky with getting all the squares that way. Normally I have a lot of an issue getting the squares higher up there. Normally it's not that easy. It's not that, yeah. Life max up. So yeah, you know, the farms that we did here early, of course, against the All Knight was really good. But of course, but we got really unlucky the fact that we didn't get the medal a single time. The secret boots, right, you know, they do actually change your height, or they do change your sprite slightly and stuff like that. But I always thought that, of course, since they call secret boots, they were meant to have like a use to them or something like that. That, oh, wear these boots at a certain place, you know, like, imagine, right, if they had like an alternate function and was like, oh, these are like the spike break or whatever, right? Something like that, you know. maybe there are certain jumps that you could make with it without having like the double jump or whatever, right? You know, but yeah. So let's open this up here. So we didn't fully explore there in the castle for whatever reason there at the entrance, even though we went up there clearly. It's all because I showed you the item that was up there. We have all the wolf relics, right? Yeah. Soul of Wolf, Skill of Wolf, and Power of Wolf, yeah. Transformate Wolf, Run Swiftly as Wolf, and Special Move as Wolf.
Welcome aboard, O Prince. Shall I guide thee across the river?
Yeah, that voice doesn't do the same thing as his old creepy voice. And I always thought that the robes that they wear are very, very interesting, of course. Yo, gain the money. And yeah, there's very, very little you didn't explore it because certain times you get the squares below the water even without going that deep into the water there, because there's no way that just going down there into the water at a 2000 coin bag, that was probably not enough to get the thing, but yeah. The Merman statue. And of course, Merman statue is not supposed to be like a reference to like, you might wonder, oh, how can that summon the horseman or whatever, right? But the mermaids are of course the enemy in the game and stuff, that's yeah. So let's actually not move him yet, so let's jump over him. Oops, that maybe not good. Just wanted to kill the fish. How many healing items do we have? We have meal tickets though. We have a library card. We have the 2 life apples. But you don't want to waste right now, of course, obviously. We have the grape juice, we have the frankfurter, we have 2 turkeys, 1 cheese, 4 pot roast, yum yum yum. Shiitake, we have a lot of ice cream. Well, it is pretty funny that you can get the ice cream from the like the shade. Right here it is. I don't have time for it right now. You could of course use the bat and use fire bat and stuff like that and then get it. No. But it probably would have been smarter to wait with getting the thing there at the entrance. But we killed the shades in 1 hit, which is nice. We have a pretty decent amount of luck though, to be honest. But that's of course mostly because of the Moonstone. Yeah, there were very few things actually in this that actually did increase your luck and stuff like that, but yeah. Here's the thing that's interesting, right? That the thing that keeps this frozen right here, right? I'm thinking the lore is supposed to be that it's actually the frozen shades that keeps that area frozen. Stuff that, Same thing with, oh, that's why it gets frozen over here, because, you have the frozen shade here. And I know we're taking much extra damage doing this here. Let's go up again. Oops. Maybe that's not the greatest idea. Only do 1 damage though. Yeah. Time. Hello? Okay. We did reload the room. Okay, there he is. You don't need to get him super close, by the way, but it is possible that he used, Yeah, that's more than enough jackpot. Oh, nice up. And I think we do have enough defense to where we can take very low damage from the thing, by the way. Abandoned pit to the catacombs. Yeah, so that, because it's just called abandoned pit normally, right? Or abandoned mines also can be a thing also that it can be called. I always thought that this music was pretty great though, because this whole thing with a pit area like this is something that's more like, you might say that, oh, this is supposed to be the underground cavern section from like even the very first Castlevania and stuff that, right? I remember that underground cavern area and stuff that, right? But, but this is even deeper in the castle, of course, and stuff that, and you could say theoretically that the catacombs is down in hell because you see the lava and stuff that and everything, Yeah, they have a good hitbox. Normally you don't care about its hitbox because normally you're never gonna like properly miss it. Yeah, so it's like right in the middle and stuff that, like if you used on that standing height, it's no problem. But I honestly feel like the jumping slashes fail less often. And because on this boss, by the way, you don't want to. Do we have any? We don't have any resist fire left. We do have a resist ice. We have one resist ice, right? So one resist ice. We have one resist holy, one resist stone, two resist dark, which we actually both got as drop, I think. Maybe we got one of them as drop and one of them as a normal one, and yeah, and I resist under, but that is just bad. Just slightly out of reach. We need to stop get closer here. Come on. Yeah, that's the worst if you get into this situation. Yeah, you just need to be very patient sometimes, And he jumps. And he actually rotates the head there, by the way. But he's not doing that much damage, right? There we go. Easy as we talk. And I forgot, if you have the fairy card here, does she give you a tip here? Does she give you a tip about this button here? Yeah, she doesn't mention anything about the button there.
Ta-da! I'm back! Whoa, hey, what's this? Some kind of switch? I much prefer shiny red buttons, but this will do.
And I actually had really fun with his voice, and stuff like that, Corpse. Dun, 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 dun. I forgot I forgot. I mean, she do a lot of damage. 7, okay, that's not too bad. I mean, if we kill her, that's really good, but I know that her health is not super high or anything, but it might be a bit hard to heal here also. Yeah, it's very hard to avoid getting hit here. Because we could get lucky and get the drop and stuff that here. What are we at? Okay, so we are at 14 out of the things here. 15 is going to be Grandfather, of course. And 16 is going to be the Maria thing, I think. And 17 is going to be the thing. There's probably going to be a rare thing from getting... Yeah, so we get the Ring of Ares here. A Ring of Ares is very, very big, of course, and obviously you don't want to roll away from the Moonstone because the Moonstone give you a lot of damage, but yeah. So we could be getting 51 damage with this because it gives you 53 strength with the Ring of Ares, which is absolutely insane. But as you can see, it reduces our defense to 0, which is like really, really scary. Holy Mail, of course, is our best armor right now, but you know, we get a turkey, we get peanuts, so that's basically like Dracula's private too, something like that. So we get a bunch of peanuts, and we get a barley tea to have with the thing, but the cool barley tea, that's actually like, barley is kind of wrong because this is supposed to be, from my understanding, is, yeah, barley tea is kind of like a thing, but it's supposed to be iced tea is what this is. So peanuts with the iced tea, and then, you know, the power of sire, you know, and stuff that you know. Ares is of course the god of war and stuff that, you know. Could theoretically try and do this with yeah, you can kill it very quickly with if you use the holy water, because it's used as long as something is stationary, then holy water is like really, really good, you know. Now the thing that you can get drop is one of them is the coral circlet. Right, solemn witches are here. Solemn witches are a bit scary. They are pretty tanky at this point, especially if you have like a really, really bad weapon. They're pretty tanky. Yes. Get the axe. Yeah, that's the scary thing to have to dodge. Keep in mind, this fallen down position is the position they already have in the reverse castle and stuff that, right, you know. And it's not a thing where, oh, you affected the other world and stuff that, depending on what you did in this world, you know, and stuff that. It's not like that, you know. It's a bit weird, right? Like two sub-weapons in one room there. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know if it was a 3-shot there because of us getting the crit there. That could have been the case, of course, obviously. Actually, I feel like the bouncy bounce was the bounce. God damn it. You're exactly gaining the same thing every single time there. I mean, as long as you don't get hit by the fire, it's not that bad. Testing, by the way, how much damage? Okay, 3 damage from the fire, that's not bad at all. And that's where you get the regular demon card. That is not changed at all in this setup, but yeah. Actually, let's just do this to just keep us safe. And then we get the final teleporter, kinda. We didn't go, of course, and do the horseman there. Stuff that way, which we're gonna have to go back and do, of course, obviously. You dodge that break. The other ones you will just shoot straight forward. You cannot shoot them at an angle, so you're always safe. The projector, but it's just the white one that can always be annoying. But also the butter freeze, by the way, or the bitter freeze, or whatever you call them in the second castle, the invisible like butterflies and stuff that. You can see them, of course, if you just stand completely still, you can see where they are. But then I believe also there was an accessory, I forgot if it was holy glasses, because I'm pretty certain there was something that lets you see them all the time, or something like that, you know, without having to stand still. And I think it's actually when you're in bat form specifically, I think, because, you know, the bat form, quote unquote, senses them, stuff that, but yeah. I'm gonna hear if the green fairy has the same dialogue, or if it's different, you know. So now we're in the catacombs. And of course, the second castle, by the way, is yeah, that's where you get the cat eye circlet, of course. You know, big HP restored by cat damage. But then it's a bit weird, of course, that you find the tape, but yeah, but it is slightly weaker than the boss circuit in terms of intelligence, and it's the same armor. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, like, it makes sense that you find the tail right, especially like when you encounter the weird jaguars, and then you think that, oh, okay, big HP restored by cast damage, let's go. I will be able to just walk right into these and get the HP back, but no, you know. And because they call weird skeletons, of course, you know, but they are like quote-unquote weird jaguars or what they're supposed to be. But yeah, then they're standing on their hind legs, or whatever you want to call it, basically. Yeah, there's the monarch. They're technically carried by priests. Yeah, you can say that the STDs are actually that they are supposed to be like, you know, priests of Galmoth and stuff that, you know. And yeah, they say, I think it takes a long time to kill, but if you kill all the 3 parts, it's kind of worth it, because it is quite a lot of XP. I believe there's a clock there. Right, and I believe actually, since this does curse damage, yeah, we can actually damage the slime, which is pretty huge, by the way. Lord Slime. Give me my food. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Right. Before we go inside, we change relic to Eric called the green one.
Isn't this kind of odd?
Yeah, sure, helpful. Wait, let me...
Isn't this kind of odd?
Isn't this kind of odd? Wait, what does the bath card do? Does the bath actually give you a tip if you use the bath card? Can he? Now that would have actually been cool if the bat could have given you a hint or something like that. I don't think the demon says anything right about this. Demon is like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? Or maybe it's the talkative demon. Imagine that if they program him to have like a shit ton of things to say or something like that. That would be cool. But now we're gonna go with the fairy because, you know.
Another wonderful day.
And yeah, they wonderful day. And the other fairies like who is it?
Isn't this a little suspicious?
Wow, really? Like really that like does like I'm not saying that, but yeah. Use radar as bat. Caw. Whoa! Super mega beam. Still need to be careful here, of course, obviously, you know. Why me? You're dead. Blah. See, that's not how you do it. Blah. Haha, you died. Yeah, that's good. Red rust, yeah, the rust. We did save after we went over to the left side, yeah, we did. Yeah, but now we get a chance again for the drops here. So here's the thing, like the Wolf Skeleton has actually really good drops because the common drop is of course the Strength Potion. So let's do this, oops. And I also there should have been something here, up here basically and stuff like that, you know. That kind of would make sense. And it would have made much more sense that if this room would have not had a bone arc in it and just had more slimes. Stuff that it makes no sense. Like, okay, like why do you let the bone arc also be in here and stuff that, right? Like, isn't it enough, like, with the whole... This could have been good, right? Because you could have immediately been like, oh yeah, this is the slime room. Which of course it is, you know, that would make sense if you would ever want to refer to this room, right? If you say they own the slime room, and people know immediately that you mean this room. And it's weird, right, also that there is an elevator in this room and stuff that, you know. A pretty cool looking one at that, you know, and stuff that, you know. So I'm being more carefully, I was just very stupid with the whole thing. Because I was using the D-pad on purpose also to not have to deal with the thing, but I think I moved the D-pad too much basically. I tried to go too far here. Yeah, see? Yeah, but it was perfect there. Yeah, so the Wolf Skeleton, aside from dropping the Strength Potion, by the way, the Strength Potion, Strength Boost or whatever you want to call it, it kind of looks like it's supposed to be some sort of protein shake, almost something like that, you know. And is this the Karma Coins? Or is it another trouble? Yeah, this is the Shurikens. And the Karma Coins. Yeah, you're in a corner. Can we get the pork back here? Yeah, we got the Strength Potion, that's nice. You know, some people might say that, oh, you're supposed to not get the platinum mail until way later, because I forget, like, is this backbreaker, like, armor-wise, it's actually better than the platinum mail, or... Yeah, it is better than the platinum mail. It's even actually better than the holy mail, so that kind of makes sense. You know, so it's like I have a light purple armor with, like, dark purple bits on the side. So yeah, that's pretty much the best armor in the first cast, because here's the thing, right? The whole the thing is that there are two things that the quote unquote got the rare drop. Wow, that at this amount of luck and without a ring of Arcana is actually very, very rare. Yeah. So now we have 2 garnets. That's pretty crazy, man. Because yeah, the garnet as a drop from them is like very, very rare. Like that's why you don't like farm them for like you never farm them for for getting like the duplicator money and stuff that, you know, you never do that, you know, stuff that, because of course if the quote unquote garnet drop happened often, for example, like if the garnet drop was used very, very common and stuff that means it used to be, you know. And of course, you can say, of course, that the Grandfather is actually completely optional, because now we have the spark break, and now we can just go and get a silver ring and stuff like that, you know. I'm killing big slam again here, though. You know, although I think that both the slams have absolutely no drop at all. Sadly, you know. Okay, and here we have monster vials, blood skeletons, monster vials, monster vial, blood skeletons, monster vials. Then heart max up, life max up. Let's go. How far in the upload? Oh no. We did lose some of the speed here, it looks like. But it's catching up here again. Good, good, good. But we're uploading the part 2 of the Red Rust, right? Because I did record 4 parts, so we have already SoTN Red Rust challenge. So that's, yeah. Well, of course, upload all the parts if we could finish this today, but you know. Yeah, we didn't even go into the room with the wood that I wanted to go into with the whole meat soup and stuff that we didn't do that in the Colosseum. I'm going to check where the Colosseum is. Yeah, because that's where the save room is over there. I could have pointed to it on the map, but you cannot see if I would point to it anyway. There's no way to bring up like a cursor, whatever. I kind of wish that you could bring a cursor up on the skin with the PlayStation controller. It's the Hellfire beast, by the way. And what he drops are actually 2 armors. He can drop both the lightning mail and the fire mail. That's his drops actually and stuff that, you know. You would think, of course, that he could drop weapons and stuff that, you know. Did we do like a run yet, though, by the way, where we only relied on drops? I mean, I think we do, but with that simplified version of that run, because what I think would be a really, really cool actual drop run would not be, for example, that you wouldn't be able to use the hide cuirass, and you might say, but the hide cuirass is a drop, yes, but it's not a drop from the enemy. So if we want armor, for example, we would need to kill, like, okay, that means, of course, that we will be able to use, like, the common short sword, for example. We will be able to use the short sword, we would be able to use the red rust. Using the bastard, for example, would require that thing to actually drop from the actual, you know, bloody zombie and stuff like that. And here's the thing, these guys, loss off, can drop sirloin. Yes, it can drop sirloin, loss off. And yeah, the lost souls are a bit annoying because of the... Yo! No fucking way. I mean, it's not super rare drop. I believe the firebrand is actually the common drop. What? What the fuck is this luck, man? Wait, dark metamorphosis. Much? Okay. 40 minutes in. So you know what I mean? Okay, so we got 2 firebrands in a row. That's... I'm gonna have to check, is that a rare drop? Because that would be absolutely insane. And then use, you know, like, yeah, like by this rate, we're just gonna get like fucking shotgun on the first kill here. Like, it would be absolutely insane if he drops the shotgun here. Why does he keep just doing this? Maybe he doesn't like being cursed. Maybe that's an actual, like, maybe... Because I do believe, right, that cursing does affect certain enemies. But yeah, but normally he throws the thing, you know. And then for some reason he goes into a black hole for some reason. Like, why is that? Like, is he like insanely strong? Like, is he supposed to be like, did they name him wrong, right? You know, and stuff like that, so yeah. All the mask is a bit odd that you find at this point. Also because used like with the bandana, it has like... But it's actually slightly worse even than this for intelligence. You have 28 as your default intelligence, and the bandana still gives you intelligence. Because it gives you 29. And this is 28. So the volume mask doesn't give you any intelligence. But it does give you like 2 armor points and stuff like that. But yeah, but it's just like, why would you use that over the stone mask, you know? As to use at the ball. You know. But I mean, that luck there of getting 2 firebrands, I feel is quite ridiculous. And this, of course, is where you find the ice band normally. So yeah, so you wouldn't, for example, be able to use the ice band at all. Ice Sword of Oberon and Ice Sword of Mid. And this is, of course, where they have the whole like firebrand, ice brand, and thunder brand and stuff like that. But yeah. Yeah, the Discus Lord is pretty tanky, pretty tanky dude. And we have 775 there. It's gonna give you a lot, of course. Yeah, 775. Well, a few crits though there. Oh, whoa, 46 crit. Maybe it has to do with the timing, I don't know. 776 or there, so yeah, he gives you pretty decent there. And that's the only place in the entire game where you face him. And it's kind of like cool, right, that you have this whole like fucking lava or magma even, you know, and stuff like that. Because, you know, magma is what it's called before it goes out of the volcano, like inside the volcano. That stuff is actually hotter. And that's what I used to call it in Super Metroid, that you have the lava in Super Metroid and then you have the magma. You know, I never saw it as acid. I don't know where the whole calling the thing acid came from and stuff like that, you know, and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, because the thing is, like, even if you have pretty decent, even if you have like 2 Ring of Arcanas here, even then seeing like the firebrand dropping is pretty rare, so yeah. But yes, that of course means that, for example, if you do a run where you're reliant on drops, right, then you would most likely trying to farm firebrand here. But yeah, you know. Let's just go into the very weird room where they could usually put one of the, or some of the, what do you call it, some of the Saturn relics. Like you could put Godspeed shoes here or something, right, you know. Or some of the items, you know, stuff like that. Like, even if they don't want to, for example, like, because the areas were supposed to be a Saturn exclusive. I mean, technically, right, wasn't the deal also that the fairy and the end demon, like the green fairy, basically, like the one that's called fairy, not fiery. That and the end demon were supposed to also be like Saturn exclusives and stuff like that, you know. But it's weird, like, why did they specifically, like, because they were in the PSP version as well, like, why did they specifically add that, you know, and stuff that, you know? But then here, we pick up the walk armor. And walk armor right now, is it better than Spike Breaker? Yes, but only slight. And you see it's a very, very big decrease in our intellect. That's 27. So yeah. So if you want to decrease your intellect, then walk armor is the way to go. And stuff that, you know. And that's actually very, very interesting, right? Because that's the only Castlevania, right, that have had a thing, right, that is affected, right, by your percentage, right, and stuff that, you know. Because of course, right, it depends on how it scales, of course, also with the whole how much defense does it gain from a certain amount of map percentages and stuff that, just so you know. Okay. From Grandfather. You know what, this is definitely a good reason to strength potion first. So that gets us up to 50 and then we attack potion as well. Yes. That gives us up to 70 and then maybe even... Do we have a luck potion left? Or did we use up the luck potion already? No, we do have a luck potion also. Just so we can crit more with the red rust. We don't have a... Yeah, we don't have the defense one left. Right, and technically she has no healing items she can use on us. We do have like healing in terms of food. Where did it go? Well, there it is, right? That's because it was very, very specific, right? You know. Okay, the corpse is only do one. That's good for us. We want to do the damage here while we have the damage, basically, pretty much. Keep in mind that they despawn once they hit the wall here, so once we start getting rid of enough pots here, this won't be as bad with the corpses here and stuff that, you know. It's in the platforms here, but I think it's on the other side. Okay, we are down to 28, so we maybe lost two of the things here. We do have the luck, right? Still, no, we don't have the luck. That's bad. Right now we're down at 28. You know what, this is a risk to do here. This is a very big risk to do. Does that get affected by the Ring of Ares there? Or if I put on, if we put on the medal again here, does that increase it? No. We're doing this that, by the way, just to keep ourselves more safe here. Because we do have a limited amount of hearts, so we cannot do this forever here. That's pretty funny actually. I don't know how much the beam hits us for, though. I'm guessing the beam would rush it on if we would be at 0 armor. So the 2, yeah, that's still pretty bad. Do we actually? Yeah, I think we do use up a healing here. I use 2 of those because they are 50 each. Now, of course, actually now we should be pretty safe from them, so now we can use Ring of Arrows here. Because we only have to worry about 1 corpse, and there's no way really we're gonna get hit by 1 corpse. There we go, good. And yeah, that's actually better performance than what a lot of people do without using the red rust. But yeah. So you need a lot of hearts, of course. Now, if we would have gone in with full hearts, because keep in mind we didn't have a 177 hearts when we went in, then we probably could have, you know. So yeah, so Grand Falloon gives you a lot. So now we have 276, we almost have 300 health. And that's pretty decent. And so that, you know, we are doing 30 damage now with the red rust. 33 would have been with the Takemitsu. And the short sword is still at 34, 33 with the Bastillard. And then the next thing you get over that is Soften the Gladius, which is 35 of course. So, you know, the Turfing is now at 2 damage. Yeah. And actually, if you slap on Ring of Ares now, Turfing is at 25, so, you know, it can do decent damage, but then of course it would be way too dangerous to use, you know. Now I kind of wish that something they could have done in the game is they could have made it so that certain things that you can only ever get one of because it's not a drop from an enemy anywhere. You cannot get the multiplier Ring of Ares because that would have been cool, right? Because there are certain items, of course, you can get more than one of, but then there are certain items that you use basically, you know, like. You can of course get 2, for example, Ring of Arcanas, but I do believe also there is a drop, I think. Maybe I'm just misremembering. But I'm pretty certain that there was an enemy that can drop also the Ring of Arcana and stuff that. So yeah. We can get some outbacks there, of course, obviously. And the reason why you do this whole thing is, of course, you get the warming kill. It's of course, unlike the Icebrand and Firebrand, which now are about at 57, the Warmigill, yeah, it is at 57 also. But yeah, Black Sword Storm versus Holy. And it says specifically that it's a black sword, meaning like it's evil. And I always thought that the Warmigill were supposed to look like the Ragnarok from Final Fantasy VII specifically and stuff that, you know, and, you know, strong versus holy and stuff that, you know. And Warmigill sounds more like it's supposed to be from like Norse myth or something like that, you know. Even though Ragnarok is, of course, the apocalypse in the Norse myth. How much armor now is that with Warcom now? That is 24k, so still not that super great, but yeah. We still have 30 damage with the, or 30 still, you know, but yeah. That did require a lot of our resources though, not gonna lie, you know. You see there, the video game from that's number 15. And yeah, and next up is of course going to be getting the silver ring. Just gonna be next on the list. Well, technically not. Next thing on the list, well, it's not on the list, but we're gonna have to go and get the scuba gear, the snorkel. So you can go on an underwater adventure. It would have been cool, of course, if they actually made an actual underwater zone somewhere, you know, and stuff that would have been cool. In my opinion, at least, you know. Dark Metamorphosis. And that's interesting, right? Because metamorphosis is, you know, transformation and stuff that, you know, because he calls it dark, of course, because he don't like drinking blood and stuff that, you know. That was very short, like I definitely feel like the Dark Metamorphosis is supposed to last way longer than that, I feel like, you know, and stuff that, you know. Okay, can we get a shotgun on the way out? I forgot what his other drop is. Is it a piece of armor? I forgot what would be the piece of armor that he drops. Is it steel armor? No. I know that the hunter guy, the blade guy, which is golden, of course, that guy can actually drop a gold plate and stuff like that, you know. In this case, now how you haven't seen another firebrand, for example, and stuff like that, so you know how rare it is and stuff like that, you know. But I'm pretty certain that the firebrand is the. I'm pretty certain that the firebrand is the rare drop, and it cannot be like the sirloin. I mean, the sirloin is one of the best healing items in the game. In terms of, yeah, you might say that, oh, but for example, the high potion can heal for way more, and that's true. But the high potion heal what is half of your health. So that means that, yeah, the high potion is really good once you have a lot of health. So when you have 300 health, it heals for 150, for example, stuff that, so on and so forth. So when you have 1,000 health, for example, or over 1,000 health, and like high potion starts slapping in their heals. Yeah, Hellfire Beast. Wasn't there a bug there that it didn't show up before when we were attacking Jag? See? It doesn't always show up there, it only shows up for a short while. That's not normally how it's supposed to work, right? That guy reminds me of the horse dude from Breath of Fire, of course, obviously, from Breath of Fire 3. I believe it. Isn't he the guy that normally drops the evil knuckle if you want to get it as a drop? I forgot. I forgot. What thing you can do now? Okay, good. And yeah, and this has been part 5, by the way, so keep that in mind. And we're currently having what's that? Alright, that's just yeah, so there are 3 clips left to upload. They're selling part 2, part 3, and part 4. We are recording part 5, you know. This is part 5, you know. And of course, before we go to second castle, we want to make sure that we explore as much as possible, you know, and stuff else, yeah. Let's actually save here just because, you know, we can. So we're almost at 300 health. I don't think there's any health, or I do know that there's one health max up at least we missed. And stuff that, you know. But anyway, I will start the next recording session immediately when this ends here, which does very, very soon. And of course, we need to go all the way back up again, because, you know, we're not going to be using the teleporter here, because, you know, if we get stuff in here, right? Yeah, we need it. Because that's where the combat knife was, you know. And right then I see you all in the